Work in groups. Practice the discussion at the local community hall. Rob Hall. First, thank you everyone for coming to the meeting. It's an important meeting because we're going to discuss the kind of health care that we think our community needs. The government wants to close our old local hospital and other similar small hospitals in the area. Instead of that, they want to build one big, new, high-tech hospital for everyone in the whole area. Not everyone agrees with the government's plans, though. Some people in the community want to keep our local hospital. Let me introduce two people who are going to tell us more about these different views. First, Malik Sharif, and then Chandra Shastri. Malik, please. Thank you, Rob. Well, modern medicine is very, very expensive, and it's simply not possible to provide the best services and equipment in every little town. The only way that we can have the very best is through one big hospital that everyone will use. That hospital will be able to offer life-saving operations that the local hospital never can, and we can use the local hospital land to build new houses. Chandra Shastri. Yes, but the new hospital will be 50 kilometers away, and that is much too far. Most people don't need life-saving operations most of the time. People want a service that is good, but simpler and more local. The thing that we really want is a more modern local hospital. 2. Now write a local newspaper report. Use the reporting verbs in brackets and put them in the past simple. Start like this. First, Rob Hall thanked everyone for coming to the meeting. He pointed out that it was 3. Work in pairs, do the tasks. Write 4 simple things that you want to say to 4 different friends. A piece of information, a request, a WH question, and a yes-no question. Take turns to call the friends. The calls are answered by a parent. Student A. Could I speak to name, please? Student B. I'm sorry, but he or she is at volleyball practice right now. Can I take a message? Student A gives a message and student B writes it down. At the end, compare the messages that each gave and the other wrote down. They should be the same. Unit task: giving and writing down phone messages. By train from San Francisco. It was 7 a.m. on 3rd December when Fogg, Aouda, and Passepartout left the General Grant in San Francisco. The train did not depart for New York until 6 that evening, so they had some time. First, they went to a hotel near the port to have breakfast. I've heard that the Sioux have attacked some trains this winter, said Passepartout to Fogg. So, shall I buy some guns to take with us on the train? Fogg gave Passepartout some money to get the guns, while he and Aouda went to see the city. Then Mr. Fix suddenly appeared. He pretended to be amazed to see them and said, "What, have we just been across the Pacific together and not met on the ship?" Fogg politely invited Fix to look round the city with them, and the detective happily accepted. In the afternoon, they returned to the hotel to meet Passepartout, and then they all went to the railway station. The train left on time and started its long and dangerous journey across America. This trip usually took 7 days, so Fogg planned to be in New York to catch a ship across the Atlantic Ocean on 11th December. The passengers ate and slept on the train as it moved slowly across California and into the mountains. At one place, the train had to stop for 3 hours because 10 or 12,000 buffalo were walking slowly across the railway line. By 11 a.m. on 7th December, the train was near the highest point in the wild, snowy mountains, but then it stopped. Passepartout and lots of other passengers got off to find out why. Ahead, there was a red signal. Beside it, the driver was talking seriously with a man who had been sent from the next station to stop the train. He was saying, "You can't go on. The bridge ahead is damaged and won't support the train's weight." A telegram had been sent for a new train to come from farther east and pick up everyone from the next station, but the passengers would have to walk for 6 hours through the snow to get there. 6 hours, cried Passepartout, thinking of Fogg's timetable. Walk? In this snow? Cried the other travelers. But then the driver said, there is a way of getting across. If we go at full speed, there's a good chance that we'll succeed. What a crazy idea, Passepartout thought. However, everyone else liked the driver's exciting plan, so that was the end of the discussion. Take your seats, everyone, shouted the driver. They all jumped on the train again, and the train went back nearly a mile. Then it started to move forward again, faster and faster, until it was doing 100 miles per hour. It almost flew over the bridge. There was only one problem. Just after they had crossed, the whole bridge fell with a huge crash into the water below. Notes: San Francisco. San Francisco. This port grew from almost nothing during the 1849 Californian gold rush, when people came from all over the world to look for gold and try to get rich. At that time, San Francisco was the biggest city in California. Trains across the USA. The first railway line across the USA had opened in 1869. Fogg and the others were making their still dangerous 7-day journey on this line just 3 years later. The Sioux, one of the largest of the 5,000 tribes that had lived in America long before the Europeans arrived. Some, like the Sioux, were still fighting to defend their land.